Max Verstappen fended off a fierce challenge from the returning Carlos Sainz to maintain his perfect start to the 2024 season in qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. There was fresh disappointment for Lewis Hamilton. He failed to make Q3 for Mercedes and will start 11th for the Grand Prix, his worst position in Melbourne for 14 years. Verstappen made it 3 poles from 3 at the start of the season, with the best lap of 1:15.915 to tee up his pursuit of matching his own record of 10 successive wins. But world champion had to overcome Ferrari's impressive sights to return to action just 2 weeks after the appendix surgery, which kept him out of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. The Spaniard was fastest in Q1 and 2 before Verstappen upped the ante to score the decisive pole by 0.27. Sergio Perez originally qualified in third for Red Bull, but was later demoted to 3 places 6 for blocking Nico Hulkenberg. McLaren's Lando Norris, who had qualified 4th, moves up to the head as a second row instead. 4th was already Norris's best grid slot of the year. 5th fastest Leclerc, who abandoned his final run in Q3. Was a start ahead of Oscar Piastri and the second quickest McLaren, who was also able to gain a pace from Perez. Qualifying off the front row for the first time since last October's Qatar GP, Leclerc chose the pit instead of completing his final lap after running slightly wide under braking at turn 3. He admitted the SF24 had been difficult to drive with a very aggressive front wing change for his final Q3 attempt, ultimately not helping matters. The discretion from the car is that his teammate Sainz sure-footed his performance on his return all the more impressive. I'm not in the most comfortable state when I get out and driving, but it can be done, said Sainz. A lot of discomfort, wheel feelings, but no pain that allowed me to push that out. After a difficult Friday, Mercedes had appeared to show promise for what appeared to be a step forward in the earlier final practice session, but it once again exposed the weakness of W15. Once in the cusp of 10th and his final lap of the second stage, Hamilton was knocked out by a last gasp lap from Lance Stroll, with George Russell only just making it through himself. Russell went on to qualify 7th, 8/10 off his pace. Mercedes drivers had been 2nd and 3rd on the grid this time last year. Tsunoda impressed again over a single lap to take the top 10. The Japanese driver out qualifying both Aston cars in 8th place. On what will be an all-green throwing row, Stroll out-qualified Alonso for the first time this year. Stroll still running Q3, provided the team's quickest lap after Alonso damaged the floor of his AMR24 in a high-speed trek across the grass on his final attempt, which compromised performance on the second. But while there was a second successive Q3 appearance for Tsunoda, RB teammate Ricciardo, disappointing start to the season continues. He suffered a fresh setback as he only qualified 18th due to a lap deletion, which originally had him 12th. Meanwhile, the brutal call of Friday night to withdraw Sargent for the remainder of the weekend for Albon to take on the one remaining chassis after he crashed led to a 12th place finish. But still a chance of getting points. Mercedes' quest to discover what they remain convinced is more inherent car for this year's car remains very much unsolved. From finishing 4th and 5th fastest for a 10th of the session in the final practice, W15 ended up the best part of a second adrift when the leading pace matters the most in the absolute low fuel qualifying. A frustrated Hamilton, who's claimed a record 8 poles at Melbourne, who last started outside the top 10, admitted that the inconsistency within the car really messes with him. But George did a good job. He said it is what it is and we'll have to try and do a better job. Russell finished on the right side of the qualifying for Q3 by only 0.059 from Hamilton, but that was enough to ensure this was the case this time last year, and he goes 3-0 up on the 7-time world champion. From my side, I just feel a bit more consistency with the car. We know what we need to improve in high speed corners, and on this track there are quite a few of those. I know we're in a much better place tomorrow, but we have more fuel in the car and the pace is served for everyone, but this circuit's not playing to our strengths, he said. But qualifying may still have ended up with the remaining triple world champion at the end of the Q3 timesheet, but Verstappen acknowledged that F1's familiar outcome had not been given a feel for Red Bull for the final session. Ferrari car had looked better balanced around the technical Albert Park circuit, and it was actually quicker than the dominant RB20 on Friday when Verstappen ran off track and damaged his floor. Ferrari's long run pace led Verstappen to say in the race it looks like Ferrari's also very fast and comfortable for the whole weekend, so yeah, hopefully it'll be an interesting race. Asked if he felt Ferrari were closer and in the first 2 rounds, he said yeah, maybe because it's not we're on top of things, but we well dialed in, let's say that from the start, and probably from our side it was a bit the opposite way, and yeah, we managed to improve it, but the race is going to be quite tough with softer compounds that we have this year. Sainz also suspects Ferrari might have a chance to end the Dutchman's dominance if they can execute a perfect race. If it was the Spaniard who stopped Verstappen's record 10 race winning streak in Singapore last September, I need to be 100% to beat Max, said Sainz. I will give it my absolute everything to do it, because it's been a while since Singapore and he's been on top since then. But yeah, if there's one weekend where we feel like we can do it, we feel like it's this one. So who knows, we might have a chance, he said. Moving on into the grid for the Australian Grand Prix. Shock, Max Verstappen's on pole for this one. Yeah, but I think tomorrow he really will have to work for it. It does seem to be a lot closer. Ferrari, I think Leclerc will be disappointed to be down in P4, but with Perez down in P6, could be a straight fight between Verstappen and Sainz. Who knows? But yeah, Norris and Piastri I think did a really good job in qualifying as well to get in there as well. Russell probably did the maximum out of the car. Not bad from him. Tsunoda was probably a star of qualifying. Outstanding job from him to get in the fight. And then you had Stroll and Alonso. Yeah, I think they'll be disappointed not to get ahead of Tsunoda, but except for that, kind of maximise the result. Lewis Hamilton disappointed to be out in Q2. But yeah, he just seems to have no confidence in that Mercedes at the moment. And yeah, such a shame. Hopefully he can get back on form. But yeah, Mercedes, I don't know, it just seems like they're going backwards year on year. And yeah, what a mess they're in at the moment. But Albon in P12. And that's the remaining car. I still feel like he's got a chance of points. Have they done enough to kind of make the right decisions to get Sargent out? We'll see tomorrow. Bottas with a really good performance in the Kicks Alba. Yeah, I think he'll take some confidence from that one. And then you've got the Haas's and the Alpines, which just don't really seem to have the pace this weekend. Ricciardo P18. Yeah, miles off Tsunoda. He'll be bitterly disappointed with that. Even before the lap time was deleted, he's been trailing him. Similar story for Zhou, but yeah, you get the feeling that the pressure's really ramping up on the
anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily F1 news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.